Ambassador Sajjanhar, I also want to understand from you, isn't it very rich from coming from a country that is developed, that has been at the top of its game in the past, to be telling a developing country as to why do you have high tariffs? Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we, do trade that benefits us? Why shouldn't we tell countries to tell their companies to come and build here and manufacture in this country if you don't want to pay such high tariffs? What's wrong with that?
No, absolutely. I think you have answered the question yourself, Shreya, that you asked Amrish last time. Because, the United States is a developed country and it has 3% tariffs on agricultural goods. The number of people, the size of its population, which is dependent upon agriculture, is minuscule. It would be 1% or 2%. As far as India is concerned, we have more than 60% of our population that is dependent upon agriculture. And our people, my farmers, are not producing agricultural goods for commercial use. They are not using it for trading. It is, for many of them, for most of them, it is a subsistence level farming that they are engaging in. So obviously we have to protect our agricultural sector. And that is why we have these tariffs, 14% you mentioned. I would have thought that, our tariffs on agricultural products would be much higher. But, we have been bringing them down progressively. Of course, there are areas where we need to protect our industry. And that is exactly what we are doing. And you would have seen that as far as industrial products are concerned, you mentioned 8.3% for manufactured goods and 7% for China. They are comparable, and we have also voluntarily on our own, we have been bringing down whatever our committed rates under the WTO. They are much higher, but the actual tariffs that are on the ground, they are much lower. So I think from all accounts, and I would agree with Mr. Amrish Ranjan when he said that it's a political statement, because obviously, when he makes a comment like that, India is a big trade abuser, he is also mindful of the votes of the Indian diaspora. So he wants to reach out to them. And as far as, he would be thinking that the Indian diaspora, of course, it is very supportive of Prime Minister Modi, very fond of Prime Minister Modi. So let me, say good words about him.
Yeah.
Of course, both the leaders have an excellent rapport. We saw that when, we had the Howdy Modi in Houston in September 2019.
But, even
Namaste,
during Trump's presidency, Ambassador Sajjanhar, last time around, there were certain concerns within both the countries about these tariff hikes. But my last question to you, Amrish Ranjan, is this sort of a statement, should this statement have been directed more towards China by the United States, considering that there is already a trade war that is going on? China has been blocking countries out if you don't manufacture locally. They block market access as well. Isn't China a bigger threat to the US than India is?
And Trump knows that. And he won't say it right now, because in fact that could backfire him politically, because he's also been in office and he couldn't do much about it. Unfortunately, COVID struck and he couldn't do much about it. But you're right when you say that it is actually China which is a bigger threat to US than India, and that is why I say it is a political statement. Like Mr. Sajjanhar said, it is actually to please one section of his voters within the US fraternity, within the US community. And that is why I call it a political statement.
Yeah.
I don't see much merit in it. He'll meet Modi, hug Modi, and then, people will, like any, any set of voters in any part of the world, then they would forget it. If he assumes office, if he wins the election, then, then the talks are completely different. Because India is collaborating with US in several fields, be it semiconductor industry.
Yeah.
There's a big giant called Micron Technology, which is investing big in India. So it is a political statement, is what I feel. Election time, after the elections are over, I think,
and of course, we'll have to see, it all boils down to how the talks go beyond the hug diplomacy that we see between Donald Trump and Mr. Narendra Modi. But we'll have to leave it there. Let's see what goes off that meeting, what transpires in that meeting, if it does happen between Trump and Prime Minister Modi when he's visiting the United States. Thank you very much, Amrish Ranjan, Ambassador Sajjanhar, for joining us on Mirror Now and sharing your perspective.